You're listening to Sister Stargazers, celestial and terrestrial observations and advice from two real-life sisters.
Welcome, fellow stargazers. Your sisters are in the house. Hi, Jude.
Hi, Sarah. How's it going?
It is going great. Can you believe it? We're at episode 99.
No, it feels like we're on the verge of something, actually.
the verge of episode 100, but
yeah.
99 is Sunday, July 30th, roughly to Saturday, August 5th. Take it away. Where should we start?
Well, the highlight of the week is the full moon in Aquarius.
Woo!
Yeah, so the full moon in Aquarius is opposing the sun in Leo at 2:31 on August 1.
2:31 a.m. or p.m.?
2:31 p.m. Eastern Time.
Okay, great.
You might want to look back in your journal or calendar or your emails. Sometimes I track things through my emails of the ideas that were bubbling up or the conversations you might have had on July 17th of this year when we had the new moon.
Right.
So what might be coming to fruition around this full sturgeon moon? It was the time of hunting of sturgeon.
Wow.
They swam upstream. But also looking back to February with the Aquarian new moon. So the sun was in Aquarius, the moon was in Aquarius. To see where a project you started then or an idea that you had then might be coming to a turning point.
Okay.
Or might be reaching a kind of a landing spot.
Okay.
So in terms of kind of thinking about ideas in terms of cycles and stepping up ideas, filling them out a little bit so they get fuller and fuller and fuller, and then they reach kind of a landing space, and then they might go on to another, part of that idea might go up to another level.
Yes.
And then part of that idea that's not working might drop away, right? That's something of what is happening with these cycles. So you can look back to the short term, 2 weeks, and then you can look back longer, 6 months.
Okay.
There's also, during the full moon, there's aspects of Mars and Jupiter. So Mars is trining Jupiter. Mars is in Virgo, Earth, very practical. Jupiter's expansion is working its way through Taurus, which is concerning our values or our resources.
Right.
So how might we be taking stock of our resources to better use them? And how might we be increasing our resources through our actions, through our efficiencies, to be making them work better for us? So there's a lot of that in this full moon. It's a beneficial time for anything that requires confidence and energy.
Okay.
So advancing a very practical idea or a plan. Mercury is opposite Saturn. So this is also during this time of this full moon, it hones in our thinking so that we're starting to really lock in on being very precise with what we say or maybe not say, because Saturn is the principle of limits.
Okay.
So Mercury is opposing Saturn, is helping us to focus our thinking, but we're also wanting to maybe check when we speak so that we don't overshare or say something that might not be appropriate. That's just Saturn's helping us kind of hone in a little bit and make us aware of our thinking process.
Yes.
So it's a very good week. I can talk more about the full moon, but as we open the week, I'm kind of working backwards here, but
sure,
the moon's in Sagittarius on Sunday, July 30th. That means that we're in a more expansive phase of the moon. We're willing to open our worldview a little bit, take in some ideas that might be expansive in nature. We might be feeling more adventurous. This might be a great time to take a short trip or plan a long trip. Yeah, Moon in Sagittarius loves to think big. At the same time, on Sunday, July 30th, we have Venus quincunx Neptune. Venus quincunx Neptune Neptune's up in Pisces.
Yep.
Venus is in Leo. I'm still thinking Venus is in Leo. Yes.
Yeah.
Venus is in Leo wants to be very demonstrative with affection, with feeling on purpose, right? With self-expression.
Yep.
But then Neptune in Pisces isn't quite sure how to work with that.
Oh.
Neptune in Pisces is really part of our how we dream. It's something of a conundrum, right? Because we're feeling these big, beautiful, self-expressive feelings, and Neptune's like, that's interesting, but I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Oh,
so it's that quincunx. It's kind of that squeaky wheel.
Yes.
It's that kind of, it's not quite meeting in a trine, and it's not quite meeting in an opposition. You can't quite identify how you feel. That's part of this Venus quincunx Neptune. So you might feel very expansive and want to be very demonstrative and self-expressive, but at the same time, you're holding back because you're not sure you really feel that.
Yep.
It's also not a great time to make life-changing decisions because you can be so impressionable. And Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. So there is sympathy between these two planets. However, when they're in this kind of angular relationship, this aspect to each other, and especially across from a sign of self-expression such as Leo, making this quincunx back to a very internal Neptune in Pisces, which loves to be in the deep and process. So you get this kind of sense of like, do I really feel that way? But I want to feel that way. But I want to express myself. But do I really feel that way? So there's that going on. And that kind of feeds in a little bit to the full moon. But then you have Mars trine Jupiter. That's helping us to really scope things out in a much more beneficial way, giving us confidence and energy, making us feel more enterprising and enthusiastic. So there's a little bit of that balance going on.
Well, let me segue to the card. I chose a different deck today. I'm using the Arcana of Astrology guidebook by Claire Goodchild, and these really beautiful cards that feature planets and stars and moons. And the card that came out today was Hygeia, the Purifier. She is in mythology. She's the daughter of
Asclepius.
Whoa, say that 5 times fast. Asclepius. Wow. Okay. Who was the god of medicine, and her focus is on the cleanliness aspect of health, which is where we get the name. Hygiene comes from her name, and it just talks about paying attention to your body and especially your mental health, and making sure you are doing everything to keep your body healthy and to do some preventative care, seeking the proper practitioners that can help you find solutions to whatever you might be encountering, and just the importance of not running on empty, not waiting until things get so far out of our control where, you're doing preventative measures as you go along and taking care of your body, mind, and spirit. Not sure if there's an aspect that it applies to for the week, but that's the card.
Well, we can look at the full moon again. And dig a little deeper. The sun and the moon are aspecting Pluto.
Okay.
So that might be something to keep in mind, that things under the surface might be bubbling up at the time of this full moon.
Okay.
We have the sun making an opposition. The sun is at 9 degrees, 16 minutes, and the moon is in Aquarius at 9 degrees, 16 minutes. And this opposition to Pluto, it's a separating 10-degree opposition, but that could still be in play for folks that have these points activated.
Yeah.
So the moon is also, it looks like, fading conjunction with Pluto. So this full moon, it might be highlighting at the time issues around health or healing that have been hidden.
Okay.
Just because we're moving back, Pluto's moving back and has been
In Capricorn.
into the degrees that it was in during the time of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And into 2021, 22. So there might be
interesting
long-term or short-term health issues that are culminating now that have been hidden.
Got it. Interesting.
Also, there's a quincunx from Venus to both Neptune and Pluto. And this is a little bit of we just talked about that quincunx from Venus to Neptune. This is a forming inconjunct or quincunx aspect, Venus to Neptune. But Venus is also making an inconjunct to Pluto.
Okay.
There's that aspect where you have Venus, which is a minor beneficial planet.
Yeah.
In Leo, which is about self-expression. There might be around issues of self-expression, you might be really kind of digging deeper in terms of how you might be limiting your self-expression, or self-expression might be limited.
Okay.
And that can sometimes reflect on health issues.
Yes, of course.
But the full moon chart would say that these are issues that have been brewing in the background.
Okay. Yeah.
And now coming up.
Okay.
So you might have been aware of these things for months or for a few weeks.
Yep.
So it's something that now is being revealed.
Yes, and to pay attention.
Yes.
Yeah, now's the time to pay
exactly.
attention. Do you want to just see what the Sabian symbol for the moon, for the full moon is? At 10 degrees Aquarius. Yeah.
So here's the Sabian symbol from our good friend Dane Rudyard from an astrological mandala, the cycle of transformations, and its 360 symbolic phases. And this is the symbol picture for 10 degrees Aquarius where the moon is. A man who had for a time become the embodiment of a popular ideal is made to realize that as a person, he is not this ideal.
Oh.
So the keynote is the need to deal with human beings as persons rather than as screens upon which one projects one's dream and ideal.
Okay. That says a lot, I think.
I know. I'm not sure where to take it apart.
Yeah.
Dane Rudyard goes on to say, here we have a final statement on the relationship between mental-spiritual vision and living reality, between persons and the ideal they appear to incarnate, between the great lover image and one's need for love. A love is presence stimulated and aroused. The star, in air quotes, on the movie screen is not the actual person. The star's popularity fades away. The person remains.
Wow.
What has this episode of popularity actually done to the person?
Wow.
This is a question that can be applied to a great variety of circumstances.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, that speaks right to that Venus in conjunct with Pluto and what you appear to be versus what's underneath. And then with the card, how you take care of that, making sure you're taking care of you. I don't know.
Yes. And Neptune in Pisces has a lot to do with illusions.
Yeah.
And creating this sense of glamour or a popularity, some kind of persona that's not really real.
Yeah.
And we see that all the time with social media.
Yeah.
There's this, everyone now is a star. Everyone can create this glamour, this veil, this illusion around them. But then, when you go a little deeper, what is actually happening?
Yes.
Are you working with more of the projection?
Yes.
Leo loves to do things sometimes in the shadow phase of Leo because it seeks attention.
Right.
It loves the limelight, right?
Yep.
So this aspect of wanting love, wanting attention, and then what is it really feeding?
Yes. And then versus the authentic, what does your authentic self need, or what does that look like to project your authentic self?
Yes.
Lots of food for thought for this week.
There's lots of food for thought in this full moon. I mean, we could do a full episode on it. And this also brings up, Venus has been tracking with Black Moon Lilith, or I should say Black Moon Lilith in Leo has been also tracking with Venus.
Yes.
This can bring up these kinds of issues around self and other and attention seeking and and the nature of love.
Yes. And I think that's where Hygeia can also speak to, if you need to work those things out, to find the appropriate practitioners that can help, whether it's physical, emotional, psychological, finding the resources to help get at the root of those things so you can be your best expressed self.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ooh.
There are aspects here to the North Node.
Okay.
Venus is trine the North Node. There is facility here to up-level the self-expression, like to take that veil down, to work on the inner, which is Hygeia, the state of health, the state of
well-being.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, taking our best self forward. Okay, well, listeners, if you have questions, comments, insights on this very interesting and exciting week, please send us an email at connect@sisterstargazers.com. Don't forget to tune in Monday nights for some astrological deep dives on WMPG.org, 7 p.m. Monday nights. And Jude, thank you. That was a really, really excellent breakdown of the week.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. I love the conversation.
Yeah. Talk to you later.
Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Sister Stargazers. Let us know what worked for you this week. Find us on Facebook and post a comment at Sister Stargazers.